Welcome back, guys. We are on to our second to last video. After this, we still have multicolor to do, but Yanks is on the call with us. We're going to be doing all of our artifacts and lands. Sorry, I was a little fuzzy there for a minute. Artifacts and lands in this video. Make sure you guys leave us a comment down below. Let us know what you guys think of the set so far and whether or not you think that these artifacts and lands are going to be any good and limited. All right, Yanks, you ready to start this off with some Arc Splitter?
Yep.
All right, we got Arc Splitter, a 1-mana artifact equipment that says equipped creature has a 1. This creature deals 1 damage to target creature that's blocking it. It's not a tap ability, so you can kind of keep dumping more and more mana into this. Right?
Yeah.
Is the way that's worded? So you could pay 3 to kill whatever's blocking it?
Yeah. It makes blocking hard, but that's awfully specific and for an equipment that doesn't provide any stats.
Agreed. It makes combat difficult, but like, I feel like once you equip this, a lot of times your opponent's just going to take the damage because it's too difficult. And when they don't, you just get a free card, and that's nice. It also is pretty relevant when it is working with shield counters, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
It makes multi-blocking. If you've got like a deck of 6/6s, people aren't going to be able to double block you with 3 1s, which is pretty common. It makes tokens pretty terrible, like the human ones. So this doesn't feel main deckable, but I could see bringing this out of the sideboard in some situations, possibly.
Yeah, I definitely think it's certainly valuable out of the sideboard. I don't think it's main deckable though.
Agreed. I have this as a 1. Brass Knuckles, 4 mana for an equipment. When you cast the spell, copy it. Equipped creature has double strike as long as 2 or more equipment are attached to it. And the equip cost only for 1. So, interesting. So if you have an equipment deck and you can equip something else to it, you can give multiple creatures double strike. Or on its own, you could just pay 6 and give something double strike. And then you get flexibility as you move around more and more equipment, then you can branch that out into multiple things and get flexible. I'm not in love with it.
No, I mean, I think the flavor is cute, right? You're going to have 2 sets of brass knuckles.
Agreed.
If you have them. But, yeah, I don't think this card's very good.
Agreed. This is a 1 for me.
Agreed.
Cement Shoes, another equipment. What?
Sorry, just the name made me laugh.
Equipped creature gets +3/+3 and has at the beginning of your end step, tap the creature. Equipment creature doesn't untap during its controller's untap step. Pay 2 to equip. Oh.
So you get a cheap boost. But then it locks down your creature.
And you want to move it to like a 1/1. So you attack for 6 with your 3/3. You move it to a 1/1. It taps the 1/1 too, but you get to untap with the 3/3. You can move it over, do the thing, put it back on the 1/1. The 1/1's permanently tapped.
Yeah, it's spending 4 mana a turn to do that.
Yeah, I was not arguing that this was good. I'm just saying that is the situation in which we would be using this. Yeah, this card is also a 1 for me. A lot of misses here so far. I'm concerned we're seeing so many equipment and they're all so bad that it makes a huge chunk of the cards in the set just unplayable.
Yeah, I think this one, as opposed to the last 2, has a little more of a chance to be played. Because 3/3 is a big deal. And you can maybe just put it on a 1/1, especially if you're in like that green-white token stack. You don't really care if your 1/1 stays tapped. So you're only spending 2 mana a turn.
You have to have 2 creatures and 4 mana a turn.
Well, no, I'm saying you put it on a 1/1, attack with it, and then let it stay tapped.
And just never deal with the equipment again until you get like
you can move it to something else the next turn if you have another creature, but it's still only as long as you're not having to move it twice a turn. I think it's possible as long as you have a card. You have tokens and stuff that don't mind stay tapped. I don't think this is good, but I do think this could be playable in like a token stack.
I think I would be more likely to play the Arc Splitter. But I don't really want to play either. I think it's just 1s across the board for me. Chrome Cat, 3 mana, 3/2 cat. When Chrome Cat enters the battlefield, scry 1. We are getting a lot of cat citizens. So yeah, if there's any sort of cat synergy decks out there, you guys are going to get a lot of stuff. When it enters the battlefield, scry 1, and it's just an on-rate colorless creature in a difficult to cast set with the 3-color wedges. This is fine.
Yeah. Nothing exciting, but you'll play this card.
Yeah, like I'm tempted between the scry and the easy to cast mana cost. I'm tempted to almost give it a half-point bump, but it's just a 2 for me.
Yeah, I think I was going to say a 2/5. I was willing to move it up.
Yeah, so I'm on the fence. I could see that going either direction as well.
It's like a 2/4, and then it gets the last 10th of a point for the crazy art.
Okay, fair enough. I think it's like a 2/2, and I was going to round it down. Getaway Car, amazing flavor, 3 mana for a vehicle. That's a 4/3 with haste. When it attacks or blocks, return up to 1 creature that crewed it to your hand this turn. I like that it says up to. The first time I read this, I didn't read that right, and I thought it was bad. But yeah, this is going to let you re-trigger all your ETBs, do anything cool, get extra spells and things, because there's a lot of ETBs, casualty cards, connive cards, in addition to just anything else. When it enters the battlefield, draw a card, like the White Angel. There's just a ton of stuff. So, and you don't need to. This is still a 3 mana, 3/4 with haste that crews for only 1 mana. And it's very flexible.
Yeah, it's very easy for this to attack for 4 on turn 3 with this card.
Agreed.
And then keep attacking with it until, eventually they'll trade for it, but that's fine. Yeah, I think this card's very good.
I think it's a 3/5 on its own. With if you have some ETB synergies that are quite valuable, this could go up.
Yeah, I like it at 3/5.
All right. 2 mana for an artifact equipment. When it enters the battlefield, create a treasure token. Equipped creature has flying. Equip 2. I don't tend to like these unless they're like looting or something along the way. This is fixing and ramping just a smidge. So if you've got some big green creatures and you want to give them flying and you've got a 23rd playable slot open, I can see playing this, but I'm not thrilled.
Yeah, I don't want to play this card. Again, not the worst thing in the world to put in your deck, but I'd like to avoid it.
Agreed. I think this is like a 1/5 for me. I think this is better than most of all the other 3. But
yeah, I agree.
All right. Halo Scarab. We have a 2 mana artifact insect for 2 mana. Halo Scarab. Exile it from your graveyard to create a treasure token, and it's a 2/1. A little bit below rate, helps fix, helps do some treasure synergies. It's a 2/2 if you need it, but I'm not thrilled to run this.
Yeah, I mean, kind of sums up how I feel about this card.
The flexibility from the graveyard maybe makes you go up a half a point to a 2 to me, but I'm not.
Yeah, I think it's a 2. You can play it. You're never going to be excited about it.
All right. We have the mythic legendary equipment for 1 mana. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 for each counter on it. Equipped permanent isn't a planeswalker and is a creature in addition to its other types. So you can equip a planeswalker and attack for its loyalty, basically.
Yep.
So this is like the Super Friends deck, but I don't think there's enough counters in the format for me to like just putting these on random creatures.
Yeah, I mean, this is a very interesting card, but it just doesn't play limited.
Yeah, I mean, if you have a +1/+1 counter and a shield counter, it's 1 to equip to give it +2/+2, which is like, yeah, this feels like a straight 1 for a mythic, which is kind of surprising.
Yeah.
I thought I was going to like this card.
Yeah, for this type of card, but there's always like those flashy myth. This is not one of them, but you do always see like a mythic and some rares in every set that are 1s and limited because they're very clearly constructed cards.
It's pretty cool for like a Super Friends deck, though.
Oh yeah, for sure.
All right, Ominous Parcel. We have a 1 mana artifact. For 2 mana, you can sacrifice it, search your library for a basic land card, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle. For 5 mana, it deals 4 damage to target creature. Great. Fixes early, gets the mana that you need out of your deck. Doesn't ramp, but like kind of in that you ensure to hit your 4 and 5 drops, right? Which you might have stumbled on 1. And then for 5 mana later in the game, when you don't need the mana, you just get to double it as a removal spell. I think this is actually quite nice.
Yeah, I think this card's very good. Basically free fixing to put in your deck.
Yeah, I like this at a 3/5.
Yeah, I think that's about right.
You know, it's a little bit more expensive on both sides of the ability, but the flexibility is awesome.
Yeah. And yeah, it's more expensive, but it's all colorless mana, so that helps reduce it a little bit.
All right, we got a 4 mana Angel Warrior that has flying, and for 3 mana, it gets +1/+1 till end of turn. If exactly 3 colors of mana were spent to activate this, put a +1/+1 counter instead, and it's a 2/2. That's actually not terribly unreasonable, especially with treasures and things. It's a 4/4. You're paying 1 extra mana for it, but then it's a late game mana sink that can become kind of out of hand very quickly. That said, I don't love it, but I think it's playable.
Yeah, I think it's playable in this set, but not most, and that's fine.
Yeah,
right. We're
like
talking about this set. So.
2.
Yeah, I'm kind of actually willing to give it a 2/5. I think you're going to be able to do that often enough, and just putting 1 counter on it makes it 4 mana 3/3 flyer. You're pretty happy with.
Well, then it's a 7 mana 3/3
Yeah,
flyer.
but you can dump. Oh, it's +1/+1. Never. Yeah, but you can dump that mana at any point you have spare mana.
And that's assuming you have all 3 colors to spend.
Yeah.
So I would say that's a solid 7 mana 3/3.
Yeah, I don't know. I think this card is going to actually be surprisingly good.
All right. We are about a half a point, so pretty close. Quick Dagger Draw, 3 mana for a flash equipment. So many equipments in this set. Holy Jiminy Christmas. When Quick Dagger Draw enters the battlefield, attach it to a creature you control. That creature gains a first strike until end of turn. You get +1/+1, 1 mana equip. So it does first strike only once, but it's got flash. That's cool. So it like eats a creature and then just becomes like a loose +1/+1 for 1 equip.
Yeah, I mean it's like a 3 minutes. It's an overpriced combat trick, but that thing gets to stick around.
Yeah, I actually kind of like that.
Yeah, I think this card's good.
2 or 2/5? Sorry guys, dog's go crazy.
I think it's a 2/5.
Interesting. Yeah, so 3 mana for +1/+1 at first strike with a lasting effect. I do like that. Yeah, that's pretty sweet. And the equip is pretty cheap, so yeah, give it a 2/5. Scuttling Butler, 3 mana for a 4/1 at the beginning of combat on your turn. If you control 2 or more multicolored permanents, this gains double strike until end of turn. Hoo yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's going to have double strike a pretty large amount of the time in this format.
Yeah, that's not going to be tough to do. And it's a 3 mana 4/1, which is fine. Sometimes you'll just have a removal and they won't like be able to block. Like if they attack you and leave a 1/1 and you're just like, I got your 1/1, get you for 4. So sometimes that's just going to happen. This seems great. And the tokens are multicolor citizens.
Yeah, they're green and white. Yep.
Nice. Is this like a solid 3?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you'll know in your deck, right? Even in this set, there are going to be some decks that just don't have a ton of multicolor permanents. They might, maybe most of their multicolor cards are spells. But, you'll know when you don't want this card, but I think most of the time you will.
Suspicious Bookcase, 2 mana for an 0/4 Defender Wall. 3 mana, tap, target creature can't be blocked this turn. These are always like 23rd playables for me. Like you can sneak in wins. They're good to side in against like more aggressive decks often. But sometimes it's also just like a late game win condition if you don't think you have anything like evasive that can get in. So
yeah, it's a reprint. It can do exactly what you said. I don't think I've ever cast this card. I have definitely lost to it though.
Yeah. I've cast it a couple of times. I don't tend to bring this in unless their deck is more aggressive. Like I want this on the blocks. If I want to be the aggressor, that I'm not really interested in playing this. Sometimes it's cool to just get a little extra reach, but also if you're playing this on 2, your deck then has more reason to need reach, which I don't like. So I'm gonna give it a 2.
Yeah, I think I'm like at a 1/5, but a good card to have in your sideboard.
Yeah, I think it's more likely to get cut for me as well. Maybe that actually does kind of just fit the 1/5 definition a bit better. Unlicensed Hearst, 2 mana for an XX vehicle. Pay 2, or tap. Sorry, it costs 2. You could tap right away, and you can exile 2 cards from a single graveyard, and then it gets XX, where X is the number of cards exiled with it, crew 2. This is going to be, I think, constructed playable, and feels great to me.
Yeah, so it's 2 mana. By the time it can attack, when it doesn't have somebody sickness anymore, it's probably a 2/2, and then it just keeps growing.
Yeah.
At the cost of not being able to attack that turn.
Yep.
But you can still block and then pump it afterwards.
Well, you don't have to crew it in order to exile, so you just play it, exile it, and then just start exiling right away, and then, the next couple of turns, you just get to attack with a bigger and bigger creature each time. Seems good.
Yeah, I mean, to attack with it, right, you can't both attack and exile in the same turn.
No, but I'm assuming, like, they play a creature, you no longer have a safe attack, you then use its ability, it gets bigger, and now you have a safer attack, and then they develop, and then you have to sit back on it again.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so this is like a 3/5 to me, plus removes any ability of them to get things out of their graveyard, which there is a fair amount. It completely obliterates, like, the Dimir deck for some silly reason.
Yeah.
This feels great.
Yeah, I think it's in that 3 to 3/5 range. It's probably a 3/5.
All right. So
before we move on to lands, just one thing I saw someone mention it in chat. That's a good point on that mythic equipment.
Mm-hmm.
You can actually equip a vehicle after it's a creature, and it will remain a creature. Because it becomes a creature in addition to its other types.
Okay.
So that is kind of one. There are a handful of vehicles in this set, as we just saw.
At that point, because all the vehicles are mostly rare, I think I'd rather just have a creature.
Yeah. It's. I don't think it's going to come up that often, but I think it's an interesting sort of rules interaction.
Yeah, certainly. Okay, moving on to lands, guys. We're getting there. So close. And after this, we just have multicolors, and we are done. So we have a Botanical Plaza. So this is a cycle. Enters the battlefield tapped. Taps for Selesnya, either or. And then you can pay 4, tap, and it replaces itself late game with a draw. I like that. Makes me feel like the format's going to be a lot slower, that we are like having games that are drawing on longer and longer.
Yeah, there's 5 of these. They're the allied color pairs because every allied color pair appears in 2 of the 5 houses. Yeah, I mean, where do you think do you like these cards more or less than the Strixhaven common lands?
The scry one, you mean?
You could scry, but you could scry repeatedly.
Scry repeatedly. Oh, I see what you're saying. Each turn you scry one. That's a good question. So the scry... Yeah, the scry was also 4, I think, agreed. I think they're roughly the same. Like, they have different pluses and minuses. I think, like, the initial card is pretty strong. If you're scrying super long, I think that's better. I think Strixhaven was a little too fast for the scry to be super good. I actually think that both of the lands would be better in the opposite sets, probably. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Like, I think you'll get more value out of the scry here than you did in Strixhaven, just because some of those decks were actually quite aggressive and quick. So you didn't get to use a lot of them. But I think they're both probably equally good in their own ways. What do you think?
Yeah, that's what I think. I like these a little better, but they're not a lot. This is just that's exactly what these cards reminded me of. So I was curious what your opinion was on that.
I have these ranked at around a 3. I love cards that fix, and then you get to replace them later when you don't need the mana anymore, which feels fantastic. So yeah, I think that this cycle is going to be roughly a 3.
Yeah, I think in a lot of sets these cards are like 2 5s, but you need fixing in this set.
Yeah, we usually gave like just the vanilla fixing just a 2/5 in general when it didn't really do much. If it like gained a life, where I feel like this ability of the draw card is substantially better. Broker's Hideout, a land. When it enters the battlefield, sacrifice it. When you do, search your library for a basic forest, plains, island card, put it onto the battlefield tap, then shuffle your library. Okay, so the nice thing about this is you can use it as, you know, as long as your deck has 2 of these colors, you feel kind of okay to do this. It's like a semi-limited, what's it called?
Evolving Wilds.
Evolving Wilds, thank you. But that said, it is limited. I don't like that you can't just go get whatever you want. What do you think score-wise for these?
I've got these at like 2.5. I don't love that, like it's limited, like you said. I don't love that you don't get to choose when to sacrifice it. It happens right away.
Agreed.
That doesn't come up that much with like an Evolving Wilds type card because they come into play tapped, so you usually want to do it right away. But or at least at the end of turn. But that it is a down. Losing that flexibility is still a downside, even if it's a small one. The gain 1 life is mostly irrelevant.
Agreed. I think that's mostly irrelevant. I think that a lot of these are just going to be not correctly placed. So, you know, I'm going to be looking for fixing. This is just not going to do it. So I have this roughly at a 2. Sometimes I'll be in 1 or 2 of the colors. The likelihood of me being in 3 is pretty rare. The other thing is it probably gets a little bonus when you are in the Dimir colors, right? Getting a free land into the graveyard feels pretty nice.
Yeah, it's good for that. I think I've got the cycle at like 2.5, just because of how much you're going to need fixing in this set.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm like half point higher on the botanical gardens and half point lower on the courtyards.
I think we both had the other ones at 3, right?
Originally you said 2.5, I thought.
I think I think it would have been a 2.5 for me in other sets.
I see.
But in this set would be a 3.
Okay, we have the rare lands. This is the Triome equivalent lands, Mountain Forest Plains. You can cycle them away late game if you don't need them. But, you know, 3-color mana is going to be great. Fixing, splashing, all the stuff. What are you thinking score-wise?
It's... I think they're a 3.
Agreed. The fact that you can cycle them away makes me feel so much better.
Yeah. And also, at least bizarrely, the Triomes got really expensive all of a sudden.
Yeah? How much are they?
They're all, like, not counting the weird showcase stuff, they're all, like, at least $10, if not more. Which surprised me when I was looking at it the other day.
Yeah, honestly, through COVID, everybody's been playing on Arena, so, like, the price of cards, I think, really have gone up substantially since COVID hit.
Yeah, I think there's just not a lot. There's just not a lot out there compared to other sets. And I guess with Pioneer, those cards will actually see some play.
All right, Maestro Theater, same thing. I've got it at roughly a 2. We've got the Storefront, which is, again, another one of the situational Evolving Wilds, another 2 for me.
Yep, and these are just the rest of all these cycles.
Yep, draw a card for the Racing Ring, Gruul. We're going to give that a 3. Triome is a 3. For the Raffi's Tower, Overlook, 2. Yeah, there's just a lot of lands in this set. Holy smokes.
Yeah, we got 15, the 3 5-card cycles.
All right, Tower is a 3 for Azorius.
It is interesting. It's the first set in a while we haven't seen like a utility land or something.
Okay, that's true. Yeah, we have so many creature lands in the format right now in Standard, so...
Yeah, whether it be creature lands or like things like Mech Hanger or things like that, there's been one of those, it seems like, in every set, but I guess when you've already got 15...
Yeah, it's hard to in a wedge set, right? Because you just need so much fixing for it to be a viable format. Headquarters, 3 for the Triome. Draw a card. I'm kind of surprised that these lands don't do a little something different. Like, it makes sense that they don't, but it would have been kind of neat if they did.
Yeah. I think they're somewhat running out of space on what they can do with common tap lands, and I don't think they had done this yet, so. Agreed.
Sacrifice, draw a card, 3, Triome, 3, and I think that's it, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, we got one more. We got one more Triome for 3, and that is the end of our colorless cards. Yanks, thank you so much for joining us for Colorless today. I really do appreciate it.
Yep, anytime.
And for those of you guys watching on YouTube, please leave us a comment. Let us know what you guys thought of the artifacts and lands. And don't forget, we do have one more video coming out for you guys tomorrow-ish. And that's the multicolor cards. And if you guys missed the colors, the introduction, all of that stuff, it's already posted here on YouTube for you. So make sure you guys go back and check those out. We go over all of the new mechanics, as well as every single card in Limited. And if you guys are enjoying these set reviews, they will be in article form starting on the 25th. And I will be posting 4 articles, so you'll have all of them the morning of set release for MTG Arena. So thank you guys again for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow for multicolor. Bye, guys.